So it's the 13th of December, and this is an upload about the medical ailments that have been untreated as a part of the assault of the human rights violations that I've been experiencing. I've mentioned about the breaches of confidentiality with medical practitioners, and I've mentioned about the medical negligence. The symptoms basically that I have discussed with my practitioners would basically be about the skeletal aches and pains that I'm suffering from. I'm also experiencing a very serious tightness in my mind, my head. It's very sore. It's not like a migraine, but it's a sensation that I wouldn't have had before. It's like a very tight pain in my skull. It's an uncomfortable feeling because it's not, the type of headache that I would have had ever before. I wouldn't even call it a headache. It's a tightness. So as I've said, there's my muscle pains, my bone pains. I was pregnant in 2015 and I had a very healthy pregnancy, and I was very active and very fit. And as I've said before, this very serious vendetta of hate crime really, commenced in 2017, and even more so lately. I was very active. I was always active. I'd have a walk every day, and I was a very active, productive individual. Today, in December 2019, suffering from this tightness in my skull, that is a very unusual sensation for me. I'm also experiencing very serious issues with bones and muscles and body aches. I think most women would be able to understand the sciatica during pregnancy. Sciatica is a, common symptom, but the rest of the symptoms I'm experiencing aren't so common because, as I've mentioned, my body and bones are very sore, and I've discussed this with my doctor, and it's been untreated. I've also tried to seek a referral for a consultation for even a chiropractor or physiotherapist. I couldn't get a consultation for a physiotherapist. So I've kind of deduced from the symptoms that it's fibromyalgia. But with the aches and pains of my bones that have suddenly in the past year gone so dry and so sore and so stiff, like rheumatoid arthritis, it's very serious that this has been untreated. Besides the tightness and the dry bones, which are very unusual for me, as I've said, I've always been a very active, sporty individual, and this now, dry bones, creaking, cracky bones, sore muscles, sore back, sore spine, and the thing about it is, it's untreated. It's medical negligence, another aspect of this assault of human rights. And it's also involving intestinal issues. Usually I'd have a fantastic appetite. 3 meals a day, good healthy meals. Since this has happened, my meals have been reduced. My appetite has reduced. I can't eat meat. I wouldn't be able to stomach any meat. My stomach is destroyed. As well as that, you know, my internal organs, um, most notably my liver, I can feel has also been impacted and, you know, has deteriorated. So these are the symptoms that I've presented to my doctor on 2 occasions, and these issues of medical concerns for me as a mother, only after giving birth 4 years ago, have been untreated. Um, the issue that I take serious exception to is that as a person being victimized and violated and defamed and unemployed, I've sought disability allowance. Um, the symptoms I had discussed with my doctor, and for my application form, all I needed for her to complete was what was required, which was the information regarding my symptoms and my ailments. What happened with the disability allowance application form that I had applied or had intended to apply for was that there was actually a misrepresentation of information attempted by the doctor. There was false information about to be completed on an application regarding fibromyalgia ailments that have made it difficult for me to even stand for longer than 20 minutes. What was being attempted to have been completed on the application form wasn't accurate, wasn't relevant, wasn't correct. There was information on a disability form that I was seeking to apply allowance for. Seems I've been made unemployable due to the hate crime and defamation in Tralee. With information about consultants, one of whom has nothing to do with medical matters, and two of whom I have never even spoken with. So this is the issue of medical negligence, one aspect of the issue of medical negligence I've experienced. Another issue of medical negligence would have been in 2016 that involved a very serious infection and it was untreated. Another issue was with regard to blood tests in 2017. That was another issue. There was another matter in 2015 and 2017 with regard to cervical checks. The medical negligence that I have experienced and the bodily integrity violations with regard to the skeletal issues, the intestinal issues, the issues with this tightness in my brain, my mind, that I'm not comfortable with. Neither is it, a usual sensation for me to be experiencing, are all the matters of negligence regarding medicine, medical treatment, bodily integrity, etc., etc. As I've said, I've gone through the proper procedures for handling this kind of a matter, and it's been ignored. Just as the ombudsman have ignored the other violations that I'm experiencing. The violations of privacy, the breaches of confidentiality, the assaults, the trespassing and inviolability of my dwellings, etc., etc., etc. So this is what's happening as well, you know. As a young woman, not even near, I'm only 38, and to have this kind of ailment, overall ailment, from head to toe, I don't know if anyone could empathize with me at this moment in time, because the assault of my human rights has gone beyond just the legalities of my entitlements and my rights as a citizen, a law-abiding citizen, that has been defamed and violated with regards to the inviolability of my dwellings and the privacy of my dwellings and the privacy of my private life, my personal life, etc., etc. So, as I've said, and I'll keep having to say it until it's actually recognised and acknowledged as an offence, a very serious offence and assault of my human rights, that this matter that has been occurring in Tralee, County Kerry, has not just involved spiritual violence and a spiritual assault against me, as a light worker and of royal lineage. The liberties that have been taken and that have been perpetrated are beyond a joke. Authorities that are aware of these uploads and politicians that are aware of these uploads have ignored and turned a blind eye and acted as if not any matter was occurring. But the fact of the matter is that there's a very serious violation of medical rights. And as I've said, health is wealth. But the wealth, that's been stolen from me since 2005, 2006, up to 2019, that's another matter. The exploitation that people have perpetrated and that have prospered and gained from the damage they've done to my livelihood by violating my privacy, by thieving my creative and intellectual studies and work, and by exploiting those studies and work is just another aspect. So this entire situation is pretty embarrassing for all involved. It's not just a little bit embarrassing for me to have to even upload to discuss these matters, but seems that the proper complaints procedure with the relevant bodies involved isn't being acknowledged. It's very embarrassing for all involved, because in a democracy and for a 21st century progressive society, to be violated and victimized as a law-abiding citizen, as I keep emphasizing, is scandalous. As a professional teacher with a clean track record because of hate crime, my entire body has been ruined. The bodily integrity violations are gone beyond a joke. The privacy, it's ridiculous. And Simon Harris, tonight, I'm wondering, is there any concern or regard for any woman's well-being these days? The Ombudsman, are you going to acknowledge these wrongdoings? There's 29 human rights violations, and I was perfectly healthy up till 2016. So what's happened since 2017 that individuals, without any consultation, have violated my bodily integrity and damaged my health and perpetrated medical negligence? And as well as that, I just have to say that there's progress that's positive and there's progress that's not so positive. It's not so progressive to be conducting any, let's say, practices that are unethical and that have not been authorized by the individuals being, involved in such, progressive developments. So, with regard to medical negligence tonight, I just have to say it's absolutely scandalous that a woman's health would be neglected due to hate crime.